Hi and welcome back to
Inspired to Game. I'm Sean.
And I am Lola. Today we are talking about Speakeasy. Now this is a new Vital Lacerda game by Eagle-Gryphon Games, who we want to thank for sending us this prototype to review. Now before we get to that review, we'll give you a very quick overview of how it plays.
During Prohibition, Lucky Luciano's commission controlled Manhattan. As one of its members, you build up your empire of speakeasies, nightclubs, and casinos, and use your fleet of trucks to supply them with alcohol either from your own stills or from the run runners at the docks. To stay operational, you need leverage and protection from the police, as well as to build up your strength to defend yourself against non-player mobsters that may be trying to move in on your turf. You perform actions from operations and helper cards, worker locations, city tiles, as well as bonus actions when building. Once all players have placed all of their capos for that act, you move into the Lucky Luciano phase. First, new mobsters will move into the districts. If they move into a district where you have a building, you will have to defend that building using your strength. You may also pay your associate to help. As well, you can use hired goons by discarding them. Next, police will increase their patrols into the districts, and any buildings you have that are not protected by a family member will become non-operational. And finally, money is awarded for each zone in Manhattan based on the number of districts that each player controls. The fourth and final act consists of one round followed by scoring, as Prohibition has been repealed. Operational buildings, unique bottles collected, as well as the money you've earned throughout the game are all added up. The player with the most money is declared the most successful mobster and wins this game of Speakeasy.
As anyone who knows us knows, I love Vital Lacerda games, and I do have to put that as a disclaimer, but I will say, having said that, that this is one of my new favorite Lacerda games. Now, the theme is amazing. I love the theme, and it does it so well. It just oozes the theme here. Everything about it is really on point. It not only makes sense with everything that you're doing in the context of the theme, but it's fun and exciting. It's got that thrilling adventure to it as well. It really captures the spirit of the age of Prohibition.
And that theme goes all the way down to the basic design of the game. Prohibition lasted for 13 years. The game lasts for 11 rounds plus a setup plus the scoring phase for those 13 years to represent.
Yeah, it's very historically accurate, which is really interesting, and I actually learned a lot here. Even the mobsters that you can hire as associates are actual historical people. So no surprise, the artist here is Ian O'Toole, who does a beautiful job as always on the artwork. Now, everything you see here is a prototype, so keep that in mind. One of the things that I really love, and it's one of my favorite design features, is the way that you put your operation cards into your player board. I love how really it adds a lot to the theme and to the feeling of movement and vibrancy to the game as you're putting them in. So there's the one card that is a doorway and you're putting an image into that doorway. There's a couple that are like posters on the wall, and then the final one is a window looking down on the streets for when you're doing the move actions. So it all makes a lot of really neat sense, and it's kind of brilliant the way it works within the theme and the way it works within the actual gameplay. And it's fun at the same time. So the key mechanisms here are worker placement, there's some area control, there's a little bit of pick up and deliver, as well as even set collection with your helper cards too. So there's a lot of things going on here that really play very well together. You don't have to be a fan of area control to love this game. You don't have to be a fan of pick up and deliver to love this game. A lot of those parts are just an aspect of it that's not a driving, overarching, overwhelming element.
I'm not usually a fan of area control, but in Speakeasy, it's actually such a small element that I don't mind it at all.
And that's even with pick up and deliver, because I know a lot of people really don't like that, but it's such a minor aspect of it here, and it's kind of fun when you get your little trucks on there and put in the two little barrels and move it along. It's so much fun. And now you can only put one barrel at each speakeasy or nightclub or casino, and then you have the opportunity to sell it once it's delivered. And the interesting thing is too, is you don't even need to do it at all. You do have to earn money and cash in hand. So you do have to be earning in some way with selling alcohol, but you can do it by focusing on the docks, by attacking the rum runners, or even buying from them too. So if you don't want to set up that other part, you don't have to. You can do a little bit of both. You can focus on one or the other, as long as you're bringing in some cash in hand income. And this is important, and this is interesting here because you're also earning money straight into your vault. Now, money straight into your vault comes from cooking the books, which is essentially getting objectives. So as you achieve objectives, cook the books, you get that money straight into your vault. And same thing with the area control. When that is calculated at the end of each act, that goes straight into your vault too. Now, you do have access to the money in your vault. However, you must launder it first before you use it, if you want to use it, and that means you lose half of it. So if you need to cover $10, it's going to cost you $20 from your vault. So you don't want to do that very often unless you absolutely have to. So that's why the cash in hand is really, really important.
It's a fine line to walk of how much are you going to take away from your savings, which is your end game score or a basis for your end game score, and spend that so that you can get more score. You got to be really careful about what you're doing.
Yeah, and I very rarely dipped into it at all, but there are those times where it's crucial and it can really, really help move your game forward by doing it. So it's nice to have that opportunity. And yeah, actually talking about the area control, I actually really like that part because it's really fun, the phases here, and that's part of what makes the game so exciting. So you have that basic worker placement element, your turns, but then afterwards you get into the Lucky Luciano phase in which there's the mob wars and then the police move in, and it's really fun and exciting. What's nice though too is it still remains high strategy, so you can prepare for it. So if you're in a district where you know that the mob is coming in and is going to be attacking you, you have a full idea of the range at which they're going to be attacking, so you can prepare for that. So there's no element of luck here at all, because you always know where they're coming and you can plan for it. And so I really like that, honestly. I like that it's exciting, but in a controlled, predictable way that I can strategize for.
At the end of each mob war phase, you're actually putting out tokens to indicate the districts where the police and where the mobsters are going to hit during the next mob war.
Yeah, and the board lets you know for the next mobster coming in what's going to be the range of their power. So you can hire an associate that you know can help you, you can raise your power, and you can have enough goons on hand that if you need to use them, you know that you can protect the buildings that you need to protect. Now, one of the things that I really love about the way that this game is structured, so it is worker placement, but it's so much more than that. So to do your actions, you can take your capo, put it on one of the areas to talk to the individuals there and perform a certain amount of actions. But there are other ways to perform your actions. There are city tiles that you collect. These city tiles are new actions which you can perform when you go to the restaurant. Now, each card is an action too. There's also actions you get to do when you place out a building, as well as your helper cards. So all of these things make it really interesting in how you can make some powerful movements that aren't just restricted to one simple worker placement. So you can take one action that winds up accomplishing a whole lot through these various actions. Your helper cards, for instance, those are great to get because you get to play one helper card to start your turn off, which can be an action. So through all these different methods of achieving actions, there's really powerful ways that you can create synergies on your turns to make lots happen and to really maximize the potential there. And I really love the variability. But at the same time, sometimes it takes a lot to wrap your mind around all the possibilities and really using your workers to their best advantage.
And each, though, as worker placement goes, each location has a person that you're talking to. You may have the same action between the two people available in that location, and then they each have a specific action. So you're choosing based on that. But there is a way to mitigate. There is a park where you can go and trade positions with another person. The person that you've you've taken their capo from where they were and put them into the park, they now get to get something for you doing that, and you get their original location to do whatever it was that you were trying to do. But those individual actions are repeated in different locations, and I find that really interesting. It's not like most worker placement games where that location does the one thing, that location does the other, and there's no overlap ever.
Yeah, there are certain things that you can get accomplished in different ways and in different places, and that is really, really nice. And exactly that ability to not be constricted by the worker placement with the park is always really nice. I love it when games do that. Now, my final thoughts here. I gotta say, I really love this game. It is one of my new favorite Lacerda games. It plays really well. It's exciting. It's so immersive in the theme. It is definitely not a dry Euro. It is nice and crunchy and heavy, and it just hits the sweet spot of all of it. I am so excited about this game.
Yeah, for me, what I love about it is that out of those 11 player rounds, they're actually divided up by those by the end of each of an act, where you do a Luciano phase with the mob war, and it really keeps things moving.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for watching today. We will have a link to the Kickstarter down in the description.
So if you've enjoyed today's content, please support the channel by subscribing.
And as always, happy gaming, folks. Now this is the new Vital Lacerda games coming to games.
So many games.
So many games.
If you see 2 games, you should stop drinking now. As one of its members, you are doing things. Okay.
Oh, it's big, it's heavy.
Hey, yo, look at this game over here. Sorry.
No, you said as well as bonus locations from building.
I said crazy stuff. That's so crazy. Next, the police will increase their patrols into the districts. And if you
sorry, start again because you said
globally,
it could be
increase.
It's funny. Okay, sorry.
If they increase, what's the problem? He's making fun of me. Anyway. Well, I'm here to amuse you. What, I'm some kind of clown?
Now, my final thoughts here.
And there they were. And finally, Mr. Simpson, followed by final score.
Now, as no, now it's
leap. That's all, folks.